see how fully renovated single-level home in Koko Head Terrace, Hawaii Kai looks like under 1.6 million. So this one is single level, fully renovated, and listed at 1.56 million. And here in Koko Head Terrace, that exact combination is rarer than you'd think. Stay with me, because before the end, I'm going to show you a real number on this home and this neighborhood that surprised even me. And it has nothing to do with how the finishes look. Quick thing about how I do these tours. I'm not just going to walk you room to room and point at countertops. I pull the actual market data on the neighborhood. What's really selling, how fast, and what buyers are truly paying once you account for everything. So you can make an informed decision about your money, not an emotional one. Let's get into it. Koko Head Terrace sits in Hawaii Kai, on the east end of Oahu, right below Koko Crater. Most of these homes went up in the late 1960s on flat, walkable lots, just minutes from marina front dining, the hiking trails, and the beaches out toward Sandy's. It's one of those pockets of the island people move into and simply don't leave. And that matters more than it sounds, because it's a big part of why so little ever comes up for sale here. When nobody wants to leave, inventory stays thin, and thin inventory changes everything about how you have to play it as a buyer. So here's the first number, and it's the one that frames the whole video. Over the last 12 months, a single family home in this neighborhood has been going from listed to under agreement in about 9 days. Across all of Oahu, that same figure sits around 23 days. So homes here are moving more than twice as fast as the island as a whole. And that's not one hot month skewing things. That's the rolling 12-month pace, which is the number you can actually trust. The kitchen is the heart of it. It's open, set up for actually cooking and having people over, and the appliances come included, right down to a wine refrigerator. I'm not going to narrate every cabinet and fixture. What I'll tell you instead is that this kind of turnkey kitchen does something very specific to how fast a home sells in this neighborhood. So hold that thought, because the data behind it is the real story. Here's the pattern I found. When I look at every single family sale here over the past year, there's a clean split right down the middle. The homes that are updated and move-in ready are selling in under 2 weeks, a lot of them in under 9 days. The ones that are dated or priced like they're renovated when they really aren't sit on the market for 50, 100, even 130 days. And several of those never sell on the first try at all. They get pulled and relisted. So renovated isn't some nice-to-have bonus in Koko Head Terrace. It's the difference between selling in a week and sitting for an entire season. And if you're even half thinking about this part of Hawaii Kai, do me a favor right now, before you forget. Drop a comment or send me a quick message. The homes that match what you're picturing in your head tend to be gone before they ever really feel available to you. I'll show you exactly why in just a minute with the numbers to back it up. Let's talk about the home itself. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, single level, about 1,350 square feet of living space on a roughly 7,000 square foot lot. The home was fully renovated this year with split air conditioning and ceiling fans throughout, and clean, move-in ready finishes from end to end. And if you've ever wondered whether buying a fixer-upper in this neighborhood is actually worth it, this exact home is your case study. Earlier this year, it sold for right around 1.07 million. Someone looked at it, saw the bones, and committed to a full studs-out renovation. They turned it into the home you're looking at right now and brought it back to market at 1.56 million. So here's how you'd actually estimate your own margin on a play like this. You take the spread between a dated home and a renovated one, which here is roughly $450,000. And then you subtract your renovation budget, your carrying costs, and your closing costs. Whatever's left is your margin. Now, I don't know exactly what they spent on the renovation, and I'm not going to guess at it. But I can tell you the work was done right. They clearly invested in quality. And as you'll see at the very end, the market rewarded it almost immediately. That's the renovated premium I keep talking about, in real dollars, on this exact lot. Now let me give you the number that actually explains all that speed. It's called months of supply. That's how long it would take to sell every home currently for sale. at the current pace if nothing new ever came on the market. Here's the rule of thumb. Under 3 months is a seller's market. 3 to 6 months is balanced. Above 6 tips in favor of buyers. Oahu as a whole is sitting around 3.5 to 4 months right now, so the island overall is reasonably balanced. Koko Head Terrace, though, on the 12-month rolling, is sitting under 2 months, and in some shorter windows it drops below half a month. There is just very little standing inventory here at any given time. As I'm recording this, you can count the active single-family homes in this entire neighborhood on one hand, and it's getting tighter, not looser. Over the last 6 months, new single-family listings here are down more than 25% compared to the same stretch a year ago. So you've got steady demand running straight into a supply that's actually shrinking. That right there is the engine behind the 9-day pace. It's not hype, it's just math. Now let's talk about real money for a second, because this is where I can really save you from a mistake. On the 12-month rolling, sellers in this neighborhood are getting right around 100% of their asking price. Full ask. Across Oahu, it's running about the same, so this isn't a fire sale market by any stretch. But here's the part most buyers completely miss. You have to look at concessions too, or seller credits. Same thing. A concession is when the seller agrees to credit money back to the buyer at closing, usually to help cover the buyer's closing costs, or to buy down their interest rate, or to take care of a repair. It's real money coming off the seller's side of the table. So if a home sells at full price, but the seller hands $15,000 back at closing, it didn't really sell at full price. It sold at full price minus 15 grand. That lower figure is the effective price, and that's the number that actually matters. And here's why this is so easy to get wrong. It's not just that list to sale number, that 100% of asking, that tells you the story. 100% on its own can actually fool you. The real question sitting right next to it is whether sellers are also handing credits back. Because two neighborhoods can both show sellers getting 100% of list and be telling you completely opposite things. Take Keolu Hills, over in Kailua, which I covered recently. On the 12-month rolling, sellers there got about 99.3% of list, and the entire MLS sat right alongside at 99.4%. Basically identical. Both right up against full ask. But look what was hiding underneath. In that same neighborhood, one sale around 1.7 million had the seller credit $100,000 back to the buyer. 100,000, and it wasn't a one-off. Other sales there carried credits too, ranging from a few thousand up to around the high 40s. So even though Keolu Hills looks like it's getting basically full ask on paper, 100,000 back at the closing table means that home effectively sold well under asking. Now compare that to right here. In this neighborhood, credits are rare. Out of the last 28 sales, only a small handful disclosed any seller credit at all, and the ones that did averaged somewhere in the 10 to 15,000 range. So here it's 100% of list and almost nothing given back on top of it. Same headline number as Keolu Hills, completely different reality. And here's the catch that ties it all together. This is one piece you really can't get from Zillow or Realtor.com, and it's not because anyone's hiding it. It's just where those sites pull their numbers from. They take the sold price straight off the county records, the price that gets recorded the day the deal closes. And county records only show that one final recorded number. They don't break out the credits the seller handed back on top of it, so the figure you're looking at online is the gross price, not the real effective price. And the concession piece is just missing from it entirely. That's why you want an agent who actually digs into the full sale data on every comparable home before they help you decide how much to offer, because that one credit number can completely change what a home really sold for. In this neighborhood, sellers getting full ask while barely giving anything back tells you something very real. They hold the leverage here, and you want to walk in already knowing that before you ever write your offer. A couple of quick technical notes for the buyers who care about the fine print. For parking, you've got a 2-car garage plus the driveway and street, so 3+ spots. The zoning here is R5 residential. That's your standard single-family residential zoning. It protects the character of the street, so you're not going to have surprise commercial popping up next door. And the flood designation on this one is Zone D. That simply means the area hasn't been formally mapped for flood risk. It is not a high-risk flood zone, but your lender may still ask about it, so it's worth a quick conversation with your agent. I always want you knowing what you're actually buying, not just what it looks like in the photos, which is the perfect place to circle back to that fixer-upper math from earlier. Remember, this exact home went from around 107, got a full renovation, and came back to market near 1.5 million. Well, here's how the market answered. This home hit the market, and let's just say it did not sit around waiting. It went from listed to spoken for in about 10 days. That's not me hyping it up. That is simply what this neighborhood does to a renovated single level home that's priced right, which means whoever took this one on made a smart call. They did the work right, they priced it right, and the market agreed almost immediately. That's the upside on a renovation here when it's executed well. And here's your proof in real time. When I recorded this walkthrough, this home was still on the market, still available to go see. By the time I'm publishing this video, it's already under contract that fast. That's how little room there is in this neighborhood to sit back and think it over. There's just no time to wait on a home like this. So if you actually want to be in position the next time one of these comes up, that's the whole game. Being ready before it lists, not scrambling after it's already gone. Send me a message and tell me what you're looking for in Hawaii Kai, and I'll make sure you're seeing these homes before they're listed, or the day they go live, not the week after everyone else already did. That's exactly what I do. I'm Oksana with Island Living Oahu. Subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.